And now, from beyond our dimension, this is the JeffMara podcast. Here's Jeff.
My guest is Gurudatt Shenoy from Mumbai, India. He is an author and UFO researcher who was able to summon a UFO with his meditation technique. Gurudatt, thanks for joining me and welcome.
Thank you, Jeff. It's very kind of you to invite me, for your show. Like, you have got a fantastic podcast, and it's my privilege to be here today and share some interesting stuff I have been through for many years. So let's hope it's also interesting to everybody else in your audience.
I'm sure it will be. How did you get interested in UFOs in the first place?
Oh, it was like Star Trek. Star Trek, I used to watch. This was the only show in India back then, like 40,
Really?
50 years back. 40 years back, we used to wait early in the morning, 9 a.m. when having breakfast. Oh, Star Trek time,
Was that Captain Kirk, the original one, or the Next Generation?
Captain Kirk, the original one.
Oh.
So I don't go for the second versions, only the original ones. So it was very lovely, and that fascinated me into thinking about the space and stars and all of that. And then I just happened to read one article. I was like 7 years, 8 years old back then. Okay, and I read an article in the Times of India, as biggest newspaper, like the New York Times of India. So an article that about UFOs. So that stuck in my head, what is a UFO? And then I asked my uncle, my mother's brother, does he know anything about UFOs? Because he is in the US. So he said, I don't know anything about UFOs. So that was that. But that thing stuck in my mind. But it was not so much I started reading anything, until I was in college, and first year college, and there was a college library, and I happened to come across Charles Bullitt's The Bermuda Triangle, and it was a fascinating book to read about the Philadelphia experiment, about the Bermuda Triangle, ships and planes vanishing. Okay, and there's one more called the Devil's Sea off the coast of Japan. Okay, similar to the Bermuda Triangle. And we have a Bermuda Triangle here in India, in the northeast of our country. A lot of fighter jets during World War II have vanished in that area. Of course, people attribute it to many things. Even now, if you see, there are hardly any jets flying over the Himalayas.
Wow.
They go through a long, So maybe there is something there to it. We never know, because nobody investigates those kind of things here in India, and they just shrug it off. So anyway, college was the time when through my college library, I started reading books on UFOs and all this mysterious phenomenon. But that there was a limited supply of books in the library. So then I joined the American Council Library in Mumbai, which was like a treasure trove of books, magazines, microfilms. You ask what you want, I used to spend the entire day, in the library. I could never get enough. I didn't want to go home, That's what really started,
You had a spiritual transformation in 2012. What happened?
Yeah, it's quite strange, because I'm an atheist, sort of. And until 2012, even now, I'm still do not, strictly, I do not, more scientific than religious. But now I understand there is something which is a higher consciousness, So till 2012, my life was all ups and downs. I would reach the height of my career, Okay. So like I won many awards and I traveled all over the world and I did very well in my career. But then again, I just lost it all one day, in so maybe because of my business ethics, work ethics, or following certain rules of life, maybe, right? So, but then I started thinking, like, if there is a God, if there is a higher power, right? Why it doesn't help me? Because I'm not doing anything wrong. I'm just following all the rules that religions are telling people to follow, right? Except that I'm not indulging in rituals, religious rituals, but I do not disrespect people's faith. I respect God. God, if my family is having faith in God, I respect their faith, and I do not do anything wrong in life so far. But then why I'm facing all these problems in life? That is the thing which was bugging me. So my friend and my mentor, Joseph from US, whom I was working with I just resigned from my cybersecurity startup in 2012 as a CEO of the startup, in which I had a 40% stake, but I resigned from it because I did not think it will get much traction, and I did not want to, uh, you know, like take advantage of the investors and make them a loss. There's a lot of competition back then in cybersecurity, even now. So I didn't want them to invest more and have a loss. So I said, let's fold up. It's not a time to do this thing. Maybe in the future. But I was in didn't have a job, no income, and family to support and all that. And I was thinking what I'm to do. Then Joseph Baxter came like an angel, and he said that you can work for me as my assistant. So he was like working for Red Herring International. It's a US-based media event management company. So he was the managing director for Asia Pacific. So he appointed me as an assistant. So, but then he said he is a spiritual guy. So he is into all these Indian gurus and he does all the religious rituals, Hindu religious rituals, and all that. He's also into Jesus and Buddha and all those things. So he said, Guru, you may not believe in God and all that, but I will. You come with me. I'm coming to India, and let's go on a tour. Okay, so we'll have to do some work together, and we can also get to know each other better, and that's how it started, the spiritual stuff. So I went along because anyway he's my boss, so I couldn't say no. And he's a friend, so I went along, and for a month we traveled all over India at various spiritual hotspots. Finally we ended up visiting the Osho International Meditation Center in 2012 July, you know almost like 13 years back. And there, it's a very famous international meditation center with a pyramid for meditation and all that. So I was very skeptical that I would gain anything from that. But I went along, and then so it was like for 3 days only. So I said, fine. And then we were like sitting in that pyramid for 3 hours, non-stop, silence, not even a whimper. No sneezing, nothing. You have to be totally silent for 3 hours under the pyramid. Close your eyes and just think of nothing. Be nothing, think of nothing. That was the mantra, the person who was conducting the event. So initially I was just looking around and all that. But after like 45 minutes, I don't know when the change happened. Like I was in a trance. I didn't know I existed. It's just like I've been given anesthetic, I've become unconscious.
Do you think that the pyramid had any effect, or it was all because of the meditation?
A pyramid structure has some value to it, as we know from various accounts we heard about the pyramids of Giza and Egypt and all that, right? There are pyramids even in South America, Europe. We are finding pyramids everywhere, even on Mars, So there is something to about that shape, the structure. So, and if there is silence for that movement, and then so I think it's more about the silence, but that structure collates all the energy in a focused way. I felt, and that's what happened, and I enter the trance state. I call the trance state as the boundary between the physical and the spiritual or the quantum. So the scientific name would be like quantum. The For common people, I would call it spiritual. So the boundary between the physical and the spiritual is what I call as a trance state. And when you are in the trance, when your mind is in that trance state, you can reach out your soul. So I consider the soul is like like a quantum particle. So we'll get more into that later on. But if the soul is a quantum particle, so it can get entangled with energy, with other souls, with God, just like in quantum entanglement. So if you get into a mode of silence, especially if it's in a pyramid, and then you enter the trance state, you can entangle your soul with a lot of things, and you get a lot of things come over to this side, the physical side. And if you know how to use that, what's come over to the physical side from the spiritual side, how to manage it, then you can do a lot of things, like summon
So
an alien.
it sounds like that you're able to not only summon UFOs to come to you, but maybe you can manifest other things in your life as well when you're in that meditation, right?
Yeah, of course. Let me give an example. Like during COVID, I lost my job, okay? And I didn't have many clients also, meditation clients. So I was in a quandary. How will I support my family, right? I had a rent to pay. I was living in a bigger home. I had a rent to pay, which was taking half of my budget, monthly budget, the rent for the house. So I was in a quandary, but my soul told me, you don't have to worry. Things will happen on its own. And we had an old house which was under like reconstruction, you would say, for almost 13 years. It was under reconstruction for 13 years,
Wow.
family home. And suddenly the builder says, after this thing happened with me, this financial crisis, the builder tells everybody, you can come over. The construction is like 99% done. You can shift to your homes. And I was like so overjoyed. I mean, I don't have to pay rent. I can stay in my home now. So that is one thing. But then again, in COVID, my son was going to school in a different town. Now he had to get admission because this reconstructed house is in a different suburb of Mumbai, okay, from where I was living earlier. So to get admission in a school is like a big deal in Mumbai for your child. So I was very apprehensive. Should I shift? Should I not? But again, my soul says, don't worry, things will happen on its own. And my son was the last student who got admitted to the school which I applied for, last one. So if you are, if you can, have your soul vibrating at certain frequency, then it manifests. You don't have to, I don't manifest anything. As a physical person, I don't manifest anything. I just empower my soul to manifest. What is essential for me? I don't manifest like a lottery ticket or some share price to go through the roof. So I don't do that because I don't do it. That is my mind thinking to do that, right? Buy a lottery ticket and win a lottery ticket. But the soul knows best what's best for you. More money is not always good. You can get spoiled and you might leave the spiritual path if you have more money. So I leave it to my soul, what's best for me. And I prefer a balanced life than the high ups and downs which I had earlier, right? So now my life, since my spiritual transformation, is more balanced, happier, and everything happens on its own in a positive way. So I don't have any complaints. Yeah, I can do this for others also. That's the best part.
Can you teach us how to do this meditation?
Yeah, there are 3 steps to it. Okay. But the first thing you have to do is you have to have a change of lifestyle. Okay. So you have to live like a agnostic or a neutralistic lifestyle. This doesn't mean that you just go to become a monk or go to a monastery. You don't have to do that. You can live your normal life. But every thought and action has to be like Switzerland, neutral. So nobody should get upset by what you think and you do in life. you know so if you can manage that, it's difficult initially, but once you make a habit of it, so it becomes a way of life. So that is the first step, I would say. It's not somebody everybody can do. So since I left my uh, like hi-fi career in software, and I was working more like an IT consultant, working from home. So I didn't have to deal with manpower issues, fighting with them, dealing with employees, having arguments, and that sort of a thing, right? And if I didn't have to fire people now, because I'm the boss, and hurt their sentiments, or so that's not neutral, right? So because of my change in lifestyle, I could follow this neutral or agnostic lifestyle. That is the first thing. So if you can do that, if you can't, it's okay. uh, it's important only if you plan to manifest things for others. Okay, not just for yourself. Then you have to follow what I am following, right? But if it's just for yourself, you need to first learn to focus. I call it single point focus. Means, like, if you believe in Jesus, right? When you are meditating or when you are praying, you should be focused only on the image of Jesus. Okay, nothing else should come to your mind, just Jesus. So we can start by like looking up a picture of Jesus, and just close your eyes and pray or meditate and focus on that single point for about 5 minutes. Nothing else should come. No other thing should come to your mind. Only Jesus should be there. That is called a single point focus. Okay. So that is the first step. You have to master that first. Because when you are entering in trance state, you can't have disturbances, internal and external disturbances. It could then bring in all kind of uh, unsavory things, things you don't want in your life, energies or entities or aliens or whatever, right? So you need to have a complete focus on, and you have to focus on source of energy. So Jesus could be a source of energy. Depends upon your beliefs, what you believe in is the source of energy. If you think aliens are a source of energy, focus on an alien. If you believe that just nature is a source of energy, focus on nature, a mountain, or even a plant or a tree. Whatever you believe is a source of energy, you need to focus on that one thing. So focus, single one focus. Second is balance. Your entire body should be in balance. Uh, so I teach first focus meditation, then I teach balance meditation. So in balance meditation, you ensure that all your cells of your body are in sync, in like with having the same frequency, because our body cells are always working, always in a flow, and sometimes they are in different directions because of stress or many things we're going through in life. So once we are focused, then having balance in your body becomes easier. So when you do the balance meditation for 5 minutes, 10 minutes, your body comes into a balance, and it becomes more relaxed. Your body, all the cells are like vibrating in the same frequency, blood circulation is come normal, no high or low blood pressure. So that is balance. Third thing is you have to then do the what you say deep meditation or energy meditation, where you there I have developed a special meditation for that, but you can try any other one, not a problem. If you think vipassana meditation or some other meditation is good enough for you, you can do that. But deep meditation is where you have to cease to exist, like I did in that pyramid in Osho, in 2012. So you have to cease to exist for 5 minutes. You should not be hearing any sounds. It's like complete noise cancellation, complete self cancellation. I would call it self cancellation. No burping, no sweating, no physical or external disturbances, right? So ideally, you should do that meditation after a good shower and in a serene, disturb-free location where nobody is going to disturb you, not too much noise in the background, So you can do that third step, and then you can enter the trance state, and then you just have to focus on either yourself or the person you want to help out. You just need a face and a name. Okay, so if I want to help me and my family during this meditation, so I will just think about my face, the faces of my family members, focus on that, and I do the steps of the meditation. And at the end of it, I say a small prayer, and that works miracles.
So this is the meditation you did to summon the alien as well?
Yeah.
All right, tell us about that, how that all happened.
Yeah. So I was like in touch with a few people in India who are like into UFOs and aliens. So there's one businessman I came to know because he contacted me through X or Twitter, which was earlier. So I was more into X, and Twitter is suspended. My account is suspended now by Elon Musk because I said something against him. So he suspended my account, and Trump. So my account is suspended. I have about 28,000 followers there. So one of the Indians contacted me. He said that he is seeing orbs in his home, floating around in his bedroom at night, and he cannot sleep at night till like late night. And he is seeing aliens popping out through his window, pulling down the curtains, all that sort of weird paranormal things happening around him. So he was disturbed. And then I asked him, what about your family? Do they also experience this, or it's just you? They said, no, my son also sees this. So it's not just me. My son is also equally disturbed. He is also, seeing the orbs, unable to sleep. So you need to do something for me. Like maybe you could meditate and get rid of this whatever it is happening with me. And he's just in his house, nothing out. If he goes to office, no problem in his office, or he goes on a traveling somewhere in his hotel. No, he's just in that place where he's living in the home. So I suggested that why don't you leave the house? He's a rich guy, so he's rich enough, so he can buy another house. Just sell this one. So I said, no, my wife doesn't believe in all this. She says it's nonsense. So she doesn't see, so she doesn't believe. So I can't sell the house. So you need to help me. So I said, fine. So that's how it started. And that was first time I really. So I told I'm going to north of India uh, with my family on vacation in April 2024. Okay, so I was like on a 15-day trip with my family to the like near the Himalayas. So there is a place called Rishikesh. It's the yoga center of the world, Rishikesh. So those who know yoga, they would be knowing where Rishikesh is. So there was one place, then other like more towards the mountains and all that. So it was quite, I would say, energy hotspot. So these places are like natural, where there's less people, less commercial things happening. You can go like, some serene place on the banks of a river or in a forest somewhere inside a cave. Like in Rishikesh, the Beatles, you know the Beatles, right?
It's funny. I was going to ask you that. That didn't the Beatles go there?
Yeah, they were there. And so there was a Maharishi ashram there. And I went there. It is in like a dilapidated condition, like nobody is taking care, just like a haunted place,
Wow.
Now, but they're charging money to just go and see that. So I went there, and so they have this like pods, meditation pods, where they used to meditate. So you would find such places in these cities like Rishikesh, or you go Manali, you know, away from the main population centers, and you can work some magic there. So we went there, and the place where we were staying, even it was not a hotel, it was like an ashram we were staying. So that night I decided, okay, I would like to help my friend get rid of his orb problems, and the orbs and the aliens and all that who are like troubling him. So I meditated that uh, around 3 o'clock to 4 o'clock on, I think, exactly I don't remember, but it's in May 2nd or 3rd, 2024. Uh, I early in the morning I woke up and I said, this is a good time to meditate. I had a quick shower and I sat down to this focus, balance, and energy meditation. And then I just let myself not really think of any aliens or anything. I just focus on my friend, his face. Okay, and uh, and then something weird happened. There's like a weird face popped up, like that really dark face, like a gray alien, but dark color. Skin color is dark, not gray. Okay, or light color. It's totally dark, and it has some like shining tentacles on the head, like like glowing in the dark, like tentacles. Some of the fishes have. So that kind of creature appeared when I was thinking of my friend. Okay, and then what I did was, then I do a motion during the meditation, like push it. I push it away. Okay, and I just made that motions of pushing away that entity, and and then I continued with my meditation and I finished it. And that same evening, I saw that UFO in the sky. That day, evening around 8 o'clock, after having dinner, I saw that, but it could be anything. I mean, it must be a coincidence. Must be Saturn, as like my daughter says. So, but it was a coincidence because in the morning I meditated and saw this dark gray alien with tentacles, and in the evening I saw this UFO. So that was the first thing. And then I asked my friend uh, a couple of days later, after coming back from Mumbai, and then I came back to Mumbai. So it was like the hitchhiker effect. So I didn't meditate on an alien after that. But when I returned back on the 5th of May, I returned back to Mumbai with my family. Vacation had ended, so I was back in Mumbai. And on the 5th, I was just going out on my street and I was just taking photos, and I saw this tall gray alien sitting on the tree, the photo which I showed you, photograph which I took. So there was that just a few days later. Then I asked my friend, what happened to the orbs?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So see, whatever I do, there are some protocols to be followed, both by me and the person I'm trying to help. So one of the protocols I told him was that not to fight with your wife over this. Okay, so just to fight about this, like she was blaming him for their son's problem. So I said, don't argue, keep quiet for a week, right? And just after my meditation, and I pushed the entity away, and I came back to Mumbai. I asked him, so how is it now? Like, are you still seeing the orbs? And the aliens, so he said, no, that has stopped. So after 3-4 days, he came back and he says, now the orbs are not back, but there is some poltergeist activity happening in my home now. Like taps are getting on, you know, without nobody being near the tap, that sort of thing. So I asked him, what happened? He said, no, yeah, you told me not to fight with my wife. But today I had a big fight with my wife. So that ended the spell which I had cast, because you have to, at least for a week, you have to maintain that silence of the mind, both by myself and him, to make sure that it is permanent. And in between, if you have a disturbance, if you do something negative, then they can come back. Like just like cancer, you get a treatment, you do chemotherapy, and then you have then you have a relapse and it comes back, that sort of a thing. So anyway, so this was what my first, experience, actually with a very dangerous kind of alien entity. But before that, I have done rid of some couple of reptilians from, like I mentioned to you that in private, that there were two women. One is in Florida, uh, and she was a good friend of mine. She asked me for a face reading. I used to do a lot of face reading also. So I would start with that face reading. What does your face tell you about your past, present, and all that, and future?
Before we get into the face reading, let's take a look at your pictures.
Yeah, definitely. So shall I share my screen?
Yes. What are we looking at here?
It was like shape shifting. So this looks like an orb. So I was actually that same day, like I said in the morning, I was trying to get rid of my friend's orb problem. So when I took the video, so this is a screen grab of the video, okay, and this one looks like an orb to me, okay.
Mm-hmm.
It's the same object, but it's shape shifting. If it's a problem with the lens of the camera, it can happen. I'm not a camera expert, okay, so I don't know. But this one looks like an orb to me. Something which my friend has an encounter, had a problem with, okay?
You want to show us another picture or the video or?
Yeah, it's the same one. It's the same object, but it looks different now. And this is again the same object, again looks different, like a square, right?
Yes.
Now this again it looks like I've seen some of the UFOs on YouTube. It's like saucer shape, something like that with wings. I don't know. So I just expand it. Let's see. And now this last one. So this looks like a bottle.
Yes, that definitely changed shape.
Yeah. So it was shape shifting. So definitely not a planet, unless my camera or smartphone camera is playing some tricks on me. I don't know. So I will show you the video now. This is a screen grab. Okay, that's the video. Then later on, I found this details. So this is the moon. It has a slight distortion. Maybe it's a camera lens effect of the moon. Then here you see there's something sitting on the branch of the tree. It
Yeah.
looks like a dead branch to me.
Right.
But the shape is quite distinct.
And
Color is distinct.
did you go back another day and see if it was still there or not?
Yeah, I went there. I went to the same place, same location. I tried to locate that. I couldn't even find the branch, you know. And next day itself I went, and I tried to locate the same thing, I couldn't even find the branch. Forget about the tree was there, but it's like that day itself it existed.
Is it possible it was a monkey?
No, definitely not. It's not monkey. Because as you see closer and closer, you can see like there is this head part is like a tall gray alien with the black large eyes, okay, and a distinctive arm-like thing, and it's like meditating there on the tree. You know,
Yeah.
that's what I see. I mean, everybody has a maybe your audience can comment on it and let us know what they see through these images. And this is the moon, which I was trying to take the photograph. So again, I will just show you. So anybody can think of something more mundane explanation. Maybe I'll be open to it. I'm open to anything. I'm not fixed that I don't want to see alien or gray. But it looks like one because I've seen many pictures of this tall gray alien. So
Did you see this in real time on your phone, or did you notice it later when you went home and looked at the pictures?
later on, once I looked at the picture, not in real time, because I try to blow up the moon's photograph to see if there I can see some craters or something on the moon, because it was having a weird shape. And then I saw this on the tree. And that blew my mind. I was like, fell off my seat that time. Holy God.
How common is the topic of UFOs and NHI in India?
Very uncommon. Everybody is like a closet. Most people are like who are interested in science and who are literate, ones who had a basic degree, educated. They might be, and we have Gen X population now in India, like who are the younger, who are born after 2000, like who are more interested in this topic. But if you ask people who are older, like my age, you won't find many people, like maybe 1,000, 2,000 from a population of 1.4 billion, who are really interested in this. So not a really topic. People are more interested in ghosts, spirits, paranormal things. They have a craze for that. Haunted houses, but aliens and all, no. But many people have seen it. And I have written a book, like took information from different sources, of all the places in India where uh, UFOs and like a small history. So I will just read what I have put. Like there is a rock painting, 10,000-year-old rock painting in India, okay, which shows figure like looking like a gray alien. It's 10,000 years old, and this is uh, attested by NASA. So they send this thing pictures to NASA, and they said, yeah, there's something to this. Then in ancient Indian mythology, we have the concept of an aerial vehicle called Vimanas. I think Eric von Daniken, I hope I spelled it right, Eric. So he, Chariots of Fire, like his famous book, which made popular this concept of Vimana. But it was originally uh, authored by a sage, a hermit called Bharadwaj, who lived like maybe 1,500 years back, about how the Vimanas are shaped, the shape of the Vimanas, how they fly, what are the controls. So when you really go deep into the rabbit hole of these Vimanas, and when you look at some of the people things are talking, like David Gush or Elizondo or Baker, like they're saying that the UFO has got a mind and the pilot has a mind and they are all together. And that's how they fly, right? That's what they are saying now. But this is all written in this 1,000-year-old book
Right.
about the.
Are there any big UFO events that have ever happened in India, kind of like the Roswell sighting here or crash?
Yeah, man, 100%. And I'm not saying this, or it's been investigated and declassified by the CIA. Okay, so I just noted it down. So in modern times, okay, in modern times, there was a 1951. I would call it in comparison to who was that guy who saw the first coin the word flying saucer? Who was that guy? I can't remember his name. Who was that guy in 1945 or before Roswell? Just before Roswell.
I'm not sure. I'm not
Who
sure.
in the Rainier Mountains of Washington State, there was this pilot who saw these UFOs like saucer cups, bouncing in the air, and I can't recollect his name. Sorry.
Right.
But
I know what you're talking about, but I can't remember his name either.
the same thing happened in 1951 in India. Pilots, and that time India had just won independence. Okay, 1947. And in 1951 was not a long time after independence. And there were many British people who are manning our Air Force and pilots of the Air Force, not just Indian pilots, So in New Delhi, the capital of India, there is an airport, old airport. So there, some pilots and some aircraft mechanics, they saw many, not one, like 4 or 5 people saw in 1951 clearly UFOs in the sky. And it was like flying at 3 times the speed of the current fighter jets, like it was called the Vampire jets or something like that. So it was flying at 3 times the speed of that jet, the fastest flying jet that India had in those days, So that was the first thing. So that is in comparison to the 1945 event, 46 event with this pilot in US. And then in 1957, or 57 or 54. I have to look back into my book, but it's not much difference. So after 1951, in 1954, I think, or no, it's 1957. I'm sure about that. 1957, an entire village in India, about 800 people, saw a UFO land, and people got burned. Okay, so it's a place called Madhubani in North Indian state of Bihar. So where this happened. So this was like the Roswell of India. I don't know what happened to that UFO which crash landed there in 1957. Okay, 10 years after Roswell, I would say, right? Roswell was 1947, right? So 10 years after that. So what happened is a mystery. So, but it's not been investigated because nobody is interested here. The scientists are just not interested. They are caring about their jobs, and they want to lose their jobs, investigating UFOs. Then there are two big hotspots in India, in the Himalayas. One is near the border with China, where there's supposed to be a UFO underground base. And a lot of UFOs you can go, and if you go there, you see a lot of UFOs quite frequently there coming out. So some say these are drones sent by China, but they are exhibiting the characteristics of a UFO, like how we know today, right? What are the characteristics, the 5 characteristics which Llewellyn Endorse explained. So these characteristics are exhibited by those UFOs in Ladakh. There's a place called Ladakh in India. So that is one. And then there is another called a lake. There's a lake called Chandratal Lake, again in the Himalayas. It's the place which I went with my family for vacation, but unfortunately I could not go to that lake because it is a very remote place, very difficult to go. And my children got sick, so I couldn't go there, unfortunately. But I want to go there someday. So there is a lake called Chandratal Lake in the near Himalayas, North India, which is again a hot spot of this. If you go there, you might spot a UFO land or some aliens there. Now, how? No, I'm here.
Oh, you're back now. You were totally frozen. All right, you're back now.
Okay,
Let me ask you a question. Now, you also entered the Bigelow contest, right? When he had the contest about life after death, and you wrote about it. What are your thoughts on near-death experiences and what we do in the afterlife?
I got deep into this after my mother died. She passed away in 2023 and 22. And but this Bigelow contest was in 2021, and it was like a $1 million contest with highest prize of 50,000 and minimum of like $5,000 to the winners. So I just applied, uh, you know, just took a chance, filled up the form, and applied because I'm interested in this topic, consciousness, and because I'm into spirituality, spiritual science, quantum physics, and all that. So the contest is about trying to provide scientific evidence of existence of an afterlife. So Robert Bigelow, he is already sure there's an afterlife. He has made up his mind. There is an afterlife. He knows because he has said in some many interviews, like he has spoken to his dead wife, okay, after she has passed away. So he knows that there is an afterlife because he's spoken to his wife, and but he wants scientific evidence. Scientists trying to figure out something which is different, not what is already written by like Stevenson and so many other researchers who already have written many books on this topic, near death experience, reincarnation, and all that. There are so many literature out there, peer reviewed, and by eminent PhD level scientists. So these are all there for research. So I just did my research, due diligence research, kept an open mind, and I I felt that whatever people, there is a common things people are saying once people die. Okay, first is the blackout. No, there's a blackout. Then there is a very bright light.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, end of the tunnel. There's a bright light. Then there are people like Jesus or grandparents coming and taking you to a wonderful place. Somewhere Crystal City, whatever. So that is that. Then there is a rehashing of your life. What has happened in your life, like a movie, just shows what you have done in your life. So all of that. So I looked at this very objectively. I looked at it from a scientific point of view, not from what I've read or what other people have said. So I feel that what people, because this is not, though it looks common, it's not common. If you look at experience and near that experience in India or Southeast Asia or Africa, they are different. Okay, they're not the same. You can't just say because in America or Europe everybody is saying the same thing, so it's the norm, right? There are other people in the world who are also human beings, right? And they also die and they go have an afterlife. So they have different things. So I think it's cultural. What you see after you die, or just at the moment you have died, your brain has stopped working. I explain it quite detailed in my book, The Quantum Afterlife. But what I see is that blackout thing is basically your brain is shutting down and you're getting into blackout. Okay, darkness, the dark tunnel. And then there's light in the tunnel because then the brain cells, some of the cells start, like some electricity, something is happening, some of the nerves are trying to come back to life. And then you see that light. Suddenly, try last ditch effort by the brain to come alive. Then you see that light. And for a moment, all the flashback, the memories, your beliefs, all that starts coming. And either you come back, as in case of a near-death experience, you return back to consciousness or you die, right? So it's, I think it's the brain's, it's not, there is no, I don't believe that there is an afterlife like a ivory tower, which is with gods welcoming you, grandparents. I don't believe in that. My concept of an afterlife is basically there is no afterlife. I have a statement. It is more of like multi-dimensional statement. For every fraction of a second of your present, there exists in parallel a future and a past. If you cease to exist in one, you continue to exist in another. This is my statement. So the moment you die, your soul might linger on, and that's what mediums and all sometimes, because there is what I call as a physical dimension and the quantum dimension. So after you die, your soul, which is a quantum particle, is connected by energy threads to your physical body. Physical body still has some life for a certain period, and the quantum soul, still connected through the energy threads, remains in the physical dimension, connected to the not remains in the physical, it's in the quantum dimension, the soul, but it is still connected to the physical body, right? And that's when the mediums and all are able to communicate with the dead person, when the soul is still connected to the physical body. Okay, and it got the physical dimension. So when that energy cords are broken, when the soul completely breaks those cords, then the mediums can access people, people who passed away.
You said that you believe in reincarnation. So how do we come back?
No, I believe in reincarnation, but I think it's not a normal. It's like an error in the matrix. Reincarnation, because you just think of it logically. How many people are there now? 8 billion people, right? 100 years back, there were just 2 billion people.
Yeah.
And those 2 billion people have died and passed away, most of them. And they may have reincarnated out of the 8 billion we have now, right? What about the other 6 billion people? Where did they come from? Where did they reincarnate from?
Could they have come from other dimensions or other realities?
That's speculation. That's speculation.
Everything's speculation, isn't it?
So I feel that this reincarnation is an aberration. I feel that we shift into another dimension because our consciousness just shifts after we die into another dimension. Our soul or energy body creates a new physical, because the soul itself cannot feel consciousness like feel, touch, and all those things. That kind of consciousness the soul cannot feel. It's a quantum particle. So if it has to feel that consciousness, just like how it's shown in the Matrix, in the movie Matrix, you eat chicken and all that, So if the soul has to experience all that, it has to create a physical body, be it a cat, a mouse, or a human being, and insert that physical body in a physical dimension, because physical body can exist only in a physical dimension. It cannot exist at the quantum level. So when we die, the soul exits the physical dimension, then again it recreates. So I would call it not reincarnation. I would call it as more like what was the word used for Jesus when he came back to life?
Resurrection?
Resurrection. So your physical body is again resurrected in another physical dimension. And there are infinite numbers of physical dimensions that the soul can resurrect another new physical body. That's what happens, I feel.
What do you think about all the people that claim that they can remember their past lives?
Yeah, there are many. I'm not saying they're wrong. I mean, but that is an error. There's a glitch in the program, So something went wrong and people remembering.
So are you saying that our reality is the matrix or a simulation?
Yeah, it's great. Yeah, it's created by our own soul. So our soul is like, there is nothing like a single soul. Consider like the soul is like a drop of water in the ocean, right? So ocean is like God, say, example. God is powerful, or the higher consciousness is powerful. The drop of water is the soul. The soul itself is powerless. The drop of water is nothing. It's just a drop of water. But without the drop of water, there's no ocean. all the drops of water from the ocean, you know. So that is what is the higher power. So we are all one. We are part of the ocean, all our souls. There's no single me, my soul, your soul, and that's it. Seems that way, that we have our unique soul, but we use the power of the higher consciousness, the ocean of souls, to create our physical reality. It's not that our soul as an individual creates that.
Well, what are the other books that you have written?
I have mostly read UFO books. After I had my spiritual awakening, I stopped reading books because I focused on more or inner knowledge. So I would meditate and I would ask my inner self answers to all the questions I have, like whatever things, what is afterlife, what happens after we die, and all that. So I get my answers from the inner knowledge. I only listen to podcasts, and I see that many people have the same things. What I'm getting from my inner knowledge, people are. This knowledge is not like restricted to me. It's like everybody is almost they're saying the same thing. Like when I heard Rosalind on your show earlier, there's so much of coincidence on serendipity of what she was saying and what I have experienced. You know, some of the things were even this person who was the psychic, the other one, one before Christina, before that psychic whom you got over. So he was also saying something similar to what I know. So many of people are saying the same. There's one lady, like about the Mandela effect. Have you heard about the Mandela effect?
Yes, we talk about it from time to time.
Yeah. So there is one lady, U.S. American lady, So she talks about all these things. She talks a lot of things like what, and she could like talk to the washing machine and get it fixed. How weird is it?
That's amazing. I need her to
If
come
you
over.
hear,
I need her to come over to my house and fix some things.
so we are all even like the mountains or physical things. They are like they have a quantum part, you know. So if we can entangle our quantum part with that washing machine's quantum part, we can fix the washing machine if you know how to do that.
If people want to get in touch with you, how do they do that?
So I have a website. I think that's the simplest way because I put all my things there. I have got a website and a YouTube channel where I keep posting sometimes, explaining some of the important concepts which I have gained. Not so UFOs, but I've started posting something about UFOs also, but more on spiritual stuff.
Okay.
YouTube channel that, and so this there on the website also. My YouTube channel is QERT Ninja. There is QERT Ninja,
Okay.
and my website is QERT.in. So that's everything there. If you want to get in touch with me, and if you want a free copy, a soft copy of my book, I got 2 books. I share it freely with everybody. You can get a soft copy. Just write to me. My email ID QERTninja@gmail.com, and I'll send you the soft copy.
That's great. Well, before we finish up, can you give us a last positive message?
Okay. My message is that we have a powerful soul, right? And the powers to be do everything to make sure your soul is sleeping or unconscious, not awake. And all you have to do is do some meditation or whatever. I'm not saying meditation is the panacea of this, but you do whatever. Awaken your soul, nourish your soul. Just like you go to the gym and nourish your body, or eat good stuff and nourish your body. Nourish your soul also, and then see what your soul can do for you. And then you can get Donald Trump out of power. I've done it in Sweden. One lady, she was fighting against the Swedish government because they were just hushing up the child care scam there. And I taught her my meditation technique, and she did it for a week. And the next election, that the party was overthrown, and some Green Party came over in a coalition, and they compensated all the children who were abused by the child care system in Sweden. She didn't get anything, but so the person who does this doesn't get anything. There's no material benefit for you or the person who does it.
Right.
But others, you can help others.
Gurudatt, thank you for your message, and thank you for being my guest.
Thank you for inviting me. It's so nice talking to you, and in a very relaxed and calm way.
Thanks for watching the JeffMara podcast. I really appreciate you. Another way to show support is through YouTube memberships. And if you do, there are loyalty badges and other perks depending on your level of membership. All you need to do is click the join button underneath the video to find out more. Thank you for your support.